Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Yeah. So, do we have other tools in the same category? Other tools? Yes, we have so many tools for this in this category. So, we call it Docker is a container interface. So, there are so many tools are there. Container interface. So here, list of container runtime interface projects. So here I have listed down all the projects possible you can have it. Now look at this here. We have native, Docker, Arcanate, CRI, CNI, Containerd, Rocket Elect, Cryo, Praxis. So these are the tools which is already available. So let's say if you don't like Docker, still you can go for others. Okay. So these are the other tools. Now question is how to install Docker. So yes, because you know that Docker is written in Go and it's you can install in Linux also and Windows also. Okay. But for our training, we will use all the time Linux for this. Now the Linux we will use the CentOS 7 and all of you have got the CentOS 7 VM only as part of this training. So how to install it, I will do in some time. But what are the prerequisites for that? So prerequisite is you need to be a root. You need to be a root, that's all, or sudo. So any of these will work for this. Apart from that, 64-bit machine, that's the requirement, and Linux and Windows. Now before that, I would like to talk about how before demo of installing Docker, architecture of Docker. Architecture of Docker. So here for my training I am using the community version of it, which is here somewhere I mentioned already. This is the free one. Enterprise, which is paid one, which is out of this scope. So in fact, using the community version you'll be able to do almost everything except few things which is you don't need it because you guys are going to the Kubernetes, not into the stuff. So architecture of Docker. So let's understand this. So we have a human who interacts with the Docker client. Okay. So human interacts with the Docker client, and after this Docker client, this is through REST API. Okay. REST API. They communicate to the Docker daemon. Okay. So human interacts with the Docker client. Okay. And Docker client interacts with REST API to Docker daemon. Docker daemon take the help from the Containerd. What is the Containerd? It's a daemon service for managing the containers. So basically the Docker daemon instructs the Containerd. So Docker daemon is basically Docker-D. Okay, Docker-D. Docker-D asks to for the Containerd to create it. Okay, and then runc also is required to manage the container. Now let me tell you here, this part is called Docker engine. So whenever you come across someone is saying Docker engine, so basically Docker client and Docker-D is a Docker engine. Now Containerd is a different product, runc is different product which is dependent on this product. So that means if you install Docker, you will get all these things. Runc will run your containers. Containerd will initiate the process of getting the capabilities like a mount, CPU, this, that, and stuff to the combo. So this is the architecture of Docker. Okay. Guys, any questions so far here?
Just could you update, what is the difference between this Docker D and Container D?
So here, understand this way. Container D is one of the tools which was developed by community. Okay, so nowadays, whenever you want to use a container, so we use this Container D only. So earlier, I'll put it in this way. Earlier, let's say this is a kernel, and then this is a Docker. Okay, so Docker cannot interact with the kernel directly. So Docker needs some capability to interact with it. So earlier they were using libcontainer, but now they are using Container D. So Container D is an open source project which has been used for interacting with the system, and then anyone can use this product. You see here, so they have all this sort of runtime environment, and so they manage the Container D is industry standard container runtime with the emphasis on simplicity. Blah blah blah. Earlier, what they were doing, Docker were using libcontainer, and now they are not using libcontainer anymore. They are using Container D. By the way, let me tell you, in order to create a container, you can skip this one also. You don't need a Docker D. We can directly use the Container D and create a container. But the problem here is, because we got so fond of Docker ecosystem, so now Docker itself is using the Container D to create a container and manage the container. So ultimately, we give the instruction, but Container D is the real doer who is doing all this. So a runtime environment. Earlier, before that, it was a different library libc, which is not there anymore. Now, entire industry is using Container D to have a runtime environment. In fact, Kubernetes. Did you understand this?
Yes, thanks.
Any other questions there?
Yes.
Any other questions there? Okay. So because of we have completed this one, now next topic is components of Docker. Okay. So what are the components of Docker? So first component which we have is Docker engine. Now when I say Docker engine, now you know that Docker installation and all, Docker engine. Docker engine has this stuff which we know. Now next component is Docker engine. After that we have a Docker image. Okay. Now what is a Docker image? So anyone would like to help me here? Anyone? What is a Docker image?
It's like an executable which you deploy on the container.
Something else?
Help to mount the image.
What is that?
Basically for mounting purpose.
Mounting purpose, that's correct. But what exactly? So image is a topic which we will dive into this tomorrow in greater detail. But right now I would like you to understand Docker image. So what is Docker image? So understand what is a VM image. Tell me, in the VM image, you know the VM site because we are using from last 10-20 years VM technology. So what is a VM image?
It's again an operating system and software actually.
So here you have operating system and application file system, user file system, and application file system. Correct, no? Now, do you understand what is a file system stands for? Okay, let's go for this.
It's a way to store and retrieve the file or data.
See, if I click on the file system on Google and go to the images section, look at this here. Okay. I hope it's very familiar with you. Correct? Huh? So file system is a very broad word. So when I look at this, understand this. So VM image has a boot file system. Okay, boot file system. Now I have no idea what is a boot file system. So I'll put it up. Boot file system. So here, do you have right image for this? There is no proper image which I want to show you. This image is good. Okay. Look at this here. Learn yourself only. See here. Boot file system. What it has? Boot file system.
Everything that a kernel has.
Yeah, correct. So have you seen this boot file system ever? Have you seen this ever?
No.
No. So actually, whenever you boot your operating system, this file system will get loaded in your RAM. Okay. So yes, you are not safe. But on top of that boot file system, you have a root file system. Root file system. Understand that? So what is a root file system? Let's get comfortable with it. Again, let's say if you don't know. Root file system. Have you seen this image? I mean, not this image. Have you seen this stuff, this data anywhere? Look at this. Learn yourself. Have you seen this?
Yes, every Linux has it.
Correct. So guys, this is called root file system. Every Linux. So if you want to see the Windows, so root Windows. There should be some good image and Windows root file. Okay. So C drive, D drive, C program file. Have you seen this? No, this is not the one. This is not the one. This is not the one. So I will show you a real one. So go to my C drive. This is my here root file system. Program Windows. This is the root file system. Okay. Now here you have a root file system. After that, what you have? User file system. User file system. You want to see my user file system? I think this is the right example for the user file. Somewhere I open. This one. Look at this. User. Look at this very carefully. This is the user file. See it. Let me open up. See it very carefully. This is the user, app data, local, all this stuff. Okay. Okay. And you want to see my user file system in real. This is my user file. See, so many files. I'm so sorry. So many files. I'm not getting time to manage it properly. But this is my file. You want to see my user file system? Starting point here. Start from here. Okay. See users Rajesh. You have download, desktop. All this. Understand that? This is a user file. Are you understanding this, guys?
Yes.
And now I'll show you application files. What is the application file system? Let me show you. I have installed some tools. And typically I install these tools here. Application, JMeter I installed here. So here you have JMeter. Here Maven installation. See, this is the file system, right? Then go to DAP. So this is the application. So now this is your VM's image. But the question is, what is a Docker image? Understood this?
User file system.
Right? So Docker image is nothing but a file system. Again, understand that. It's a file system, guys. File system. But which file system? It has a root file system, not a boot file system. That's the reason we say container don't have an operating system. Why? Because a boot file system is. It has a root file system, and how many flavor of root file system you have, right? You know that, right? CentOS, Fedora, Ubuntu, RHEL, Debian, SUSE, HP, Amazon, Windows 10, 12, 16, 19. These are the root file systems. Are you getting my point? You might have seen it, experienced it. On top of that, user file system. And top of that, application file. The image you have these three combined. You have a first root file system. On top of that, user file system, and then application. Guys, is that clear for everyone? Guys?
Yes. Yes, right.
So many of you say, okay, it's executable. Actually, it's not executable. It is a multiple system combined together. So it acts like a runtime environment. So I'll show you this. Okay. Now understand that image is a file system. Okay. Combination of file system. Combination of file system. Okay. Now we got engine also, Docker image, VM's image. That's out of topic matter. Now next thing is Docker registry. So what is a Docker registry? What is a Docker registry? What is a Docker registry? Anyone?
Repository of Docker images.
So registry has repository. Repository has file system. Understand that? Of image. Which image? Docker. So here I said very clearly Docker image. So registry has repository. Repository has a file system of Docker, and repository, repo has versioning of the file system. Versioning of file system. So example, hub.docker.com. Example, Google registry. So here there is a public registry. Okay, public registry. Public registry means hub.docker.com, Google registry. Okay. Now private registry. Private registry means only accessible to your organization. Which are the private registry? Have you used Artifactory, Nexus, and all? ECR, Amazon.
Artifactory, yes.
Yeah. So these are. So here you have anyone can upload the images, and here only your organization people, enterprise people can upload them. Okay. So Docker registry. We will use So Docker registry. So basically we get image from where? We get Docker image from registry. Which registry? So many registries are there. Okay. So understand that. Registry has a repository, repo has a file system or Docker image, repo has a versioning file, and we get image from the registry. Simple. It's like a GitHub. GitHub also have a Git repository. So Docker Hub is having Docker repository. Docker repository, inside that we have a multiple file system of the image, because image is a combination of file system. Okay. Now, is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now last component is Docker container. I think I explained you very well the container, but still I will tell you. When container is one copy of Docker image. How come? So from one image you can create multiple containers. You can create as many containers. Okay. Let me tell you in a simple word. Guys, have you noticed, like in operating system, whenever you so whenever you create a user in operating system, let's say Rajesh, Rakesh, Karan, you create, so all of these new users get my documents, my downloads, my desktop, my music, my videos, this, that. So how come everyone get the same view? How come? Why? Because everyone is created from the image. We call it Windows user image. This is user file system. So what Windows operating system they have done? Okay, they have done what? They have created one image of user file system. And whenever you create a new account, they mount the user file system. They mount your account with user file system. So I told you right here. You look at this very again. What is the container? So here, what exactly? So is the user space with their own amount, one in network, one processor. But here, what happens? Container has their own, but we got sharing this mount. We get a one user space mount, but we get common root space mount, root file system mount. Okay, understand this? Root file system. That means common. We have a 5 user. 5 user will have a common root file system, but single user file system. So that is the thing. So here, that way you think about the architecture. So here what happens? Container is nothing but a user space. So whenever you create a mount, one mount get attached. Mount means image. Okay, mounts means image. So here, Docker container is one copy of Docker image. It get mounted at each container. And in image what you have? You know that root file system also you have. That's the reason. See, if you log in inside the container, see the difference. You will log in inside your user. I will see desktop. But when you log in inside a container, you will see E drive or OPT, do that. Root file system. Are you able to understand this, what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So here, the moment, understand that. What is container? The moment you run, I said run, image, one container get created. One container. That means you run 10 times, it's 10 containers. So, mounted with image, assigned with network, assigned with process map. Now, this image, when I say one container gets created, container is nothing but a user space, network space, namespace. Sorry. So guys, I hope it's very clear for all of you. If not, if you have still doubts, please ask me now itself, and I will help you. But again, we will not come back once we have gone to the another. So if you have any confusion, any doubts, any concern, please do let me now. Because demo time, I will not be able to go back to the discussions again. Guys, are you there?
Yes,
It's clear.
Yeah.
So now I think we have covered this everything. Let's recap the stuff. What is Docker? What is container? In short, what definition is popular? I said also here. How to run app, anatomy of the system, operating system, all this thing I said. How we are evolving also. What are the requirements? We have understand. Also, requirement of current day, then how application runs, I told you. Then we discuss about the drawbacks of VMs through images and other projects, which is competition with the Docker. Now architecture of Docker, and finally components of Docker. Now next one is competition. Can I go ahead with the demo?
yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go ahead with the demo. So I will use CentOS as one of the virtual machines. Okay. Same virtual machines you have also got it, but IP address will be different, and the way you are going to use it is different. So let's do that. Yeah. Guys, during the demo time, request you to focus on it, because the same thing we are going to use in the lab also. Until I'll give you assignments. Assignment you have to do yourself. Lab you have to see me and do that. That's the only difference. So assignment I will not help you, but for the lab I will help you, because I'm showing you step by step. Okay. So one CPU, 2 GB RAM is okay for timing. Okay. 8 GB is okay. Now this is for Docker, right? Okay. No firewall. So now I got this machine here. My IP address is this one. Now, first thing, how to install Docker. So for all of you, I have documented tutorial Docker, Docker. Docker installation and configuration. Yes. Now, if you want to use this, probably it has a official documents also very good. You should also use it. But I am using my documents. You can follow this one.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
So this is the instruction for CentOS and RHE. So this is the instruction for removing the Docker. I am not going to remove. This is the instruction from here. You need a installation. Don't run any commands blindly. Just think about it and recall the demo and then run it again. Okay. So now I am going to log into my machine using putty, and I have a key. Don't have a password. You guys have a password. I'll just make this view better so all of you see comfortable with it. Okay. Now, first thing, username is CentOS. For you, username will be different, which is already shared with you through email. Now, I'll become a root because sudo needs root or sudo. Docker needs root or sudo to install it. So now, I will just follow this document, whatever it is coming. So let's do that. Copy, paste. Okay, done. Finally, so also done. This one also. Yes. This one also. This one also. Okay. Now installing the C. Did I did this one? Sorry, this is missed. Then install. Okay. So Docker is installed already. Can I verify? Enable the Docker and finally start the. Okay. Now Docker info is the first command. Wonderful. Docker -b version and Docker health. These are the commands. History. So guys, in order to install Docker, I did all this stuff. I also will mention it. Okay. Any questions on the Docker installation front? Guys? Hello?
No, Rajesh.
Now, guys, I need your help, so please be responsive, all of you, because we are connected to the online. So if you are not responsive, then it will be very difficult for me to continue. So, so here we got this installation. Now, where is this Docker client? Let's understand it. Docker client. So if I see which Docker, okay, this is the client. Where is the Docker D? So if you see the Docker D, look at the process which is running Docker, and you see here it is a Docker D. Now where is the container D? So look at this Docker D, the setting to the container. Look at this container D. See. So container D basically runtime environment, the container. So Docker D asking container D to manage create a container, because only container D communicate with Docker. Okay, Docker D cannot directly communicate with the container D. So here it is. Okay, run container D. So here you got it. When you get one container running, the managing the container done through run. I will show you the moment we run the container. So far I have shown you everything, whatever is needed. Now let's move. Now here workflow of Docker engine and workflow life cycle of container. This is the two topics I am going to cover now. Okay, please understand this, very important, and if you have a doubt, please ask me. Okay, what happens? So first thing, what happens? Docker, whenever you run any command, okay, let's say Docker run. Many of you have tried this command, image name. Okay, so what happens? So for this, what happens is, see, this is my machine where I'm running a command. This is a client, this is a daemon, okay, and this is a container D, okay, and this is me, human, right? Now, whenever we send the command docker run contain image name, so this container will send that communication to REST API to Docker daemon, okay, understand that. Docker daemon is running, I just showed you just before that. Docker daemon will check that image name which I am running, image name. Do we have this image in where? In local registry.
Registry.
Yeah, local registry, same machine. Okay, same machine. Do I have this image? Let's say, because it's a new machine, so I don't have that image. So Docker daemon, so I'll put it in the flow. Flow number 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay. Now, after this, if that image is not there in the local registry, then same machine, then it will go to the remote registry. This can be GitHub, Docker Hub or Artifact. Okay. It can be. Default is Docker Hub. This is the default. Okay. D. I put it the default. Okay. So here Docker D will go to the Docker Hub and check that image, and this is step number 4, and download that image from where? There to local registry. And after that, the moment the image is there, Docker D will request container D. Boss, can you create the container from this? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And container D will talk to the kernel, and immediately, within a blink of eyes, we have a container running in this machine, which has what? All this thing I have already discussed in detail so many times. Did you understand this? Okay, everyone?
Yes, right.
Yeah. So please remember, this is a So this is a workflow of Docker. That's a default behavior. Now let's say understand this. If this behavior, if the image is not there, then it will not go to the registry. It will go and create directly. So please understand this. So here, let me write it. Human talk to Docker client talk to Docker daemon talk to the registry to download image to local registry, and sometime probably I might do some mistake. So please in writing. So please ignore that, because sometime I missed it because of some reason. So human Docker client to Docker daemon to registry, Docker daemon registry to download image, remote registry. It's a remote registry to download image local registry, and then after that container D to kernel, and then image is container is created. Container is created. Okay, is created. I hope it's understood now. Okay, can we move on to the life cycle of container? This is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now life cycle of
Yes, sir.
any questions, guys? No. Okay. So life cycle of container. Let's forget about the life cycle of container. Can you teach me, because you are using the containers technology from last 12 years, sorry, virtualization 20 years, I guess, life cycle of virtual machine, virtualization technology. So can you teach me the virtual machine life cycle?
From booting up to shutting down.
Something from scratch. First step, second step, like that. If you tell me no, then it will be easy for me to understand. Life cycle. I said, see, I am a human being, right? I am a born, then become a kid, then become a teen, then become young, then become a mid, then become a old, then die. This is my life cycle. So what is the life cycle of virtual machine in that case?
Installation of the VM.
No, VM, virtual machine I said, virtual machine, not the hypervisor. Installation you do of the hypervisor, not the VM. Okay, I will start probably. Maybe I'm confusing with the question. Let me begin. So, so first thing, we create a VM, correct? Okay, create a VM. Okay, after that we start the VM. If the VM is started, we can stop the VM. If the VM is stopped, we can restart the VM also. If it is already started, we can kill also. Kill, stop, there is a difference. Then you can kill. Let's talk about it. Restart. Then we can pause the VM also if it is running. If it is paused, we can unpause the VM also. I hope you tried, right? Now, what is the difference between pause and unpause? You have to tell me. This is a assignment. Pause versus unpause. Stop versus what is that? Kill. I will not answer this question. You have to help me out. You need to teach me. So here, create. Then if it is created, then start. Start. Then if it is running, then stop. Then if it is stopped, then you have to restart. Restart. Then it's again running. Then you can pause. If it is paused, you can unpause. After that, again it's back to running. Then you can kill. And when it kill, after that you can delete. Okay, remove basically RM. So this is the life cycle of virtual machine. Don't you think so? Have you done this using virtual machine, VMware, or right? Yes. Something similar we have. Something similar we have in the containers also. That's all. So we completed the session also, life cycle of containers. So here we create, start, stop, restart, pause, unpause, kill, remove. Okay, so we did it. So now this is the things. Okay, so this is the thing. So I think we should get into the demo. Can we? So guys, first thing you have to decide image name. Okay, image name is very important. So how do we get the image name? So each one of you tell me one of your application which you want to run inside a container. Application. Okay. So select your application which you want to run in container. Because remember why it's important. See guys, inside a container what you can run? Understand this. You can run root file system also. Root file system means like Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Flavor root file system. Ubuntu has a APT and CentOS has a YAM. It's like this, root file system. You can run with the application also. So either you have this one and this one, or either you have everything. It's up to you. Okay. So tell me. So each one of you will tell me one application. I will start that naming the person, and each one of you will tell me one application which you want to run inside a container. That application can be anything, whichever it is in your development or operation environment or QA environment. Okay. So I'll start from I think Abhishek only. Abhishek, what is your application? Okay, I'm Abhishek Burgu. Abhishek, are you not there? Because I think morning also I did not see you. Are you there? Okay, so there's two Abhishek and Abhishek Burgu. Okay. Abhishek Burgu, are you there? Hello?
I think he just got disconnected.
Okay, okay. Arish? Hi, Arish. Yeah, tell me your application.
In Tomcat?
Okay. So I will take it one Tomcat. Arish, I think you have joined again one more time. Arish, Mayan, okay.
Yeah, I joined in dCloud and my personal laptop.
Vishwajit?
Apache maybe?
Apache? Okay.
Yeah.
Sebupur? Sebupur, are you there?
Yeah, is it possible to run? Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah.
IBM intro?
Which one?
IBM intro?
IBM?
IBM?
Sir,
No, you are
voice is not
is any existing.
and it's breaking also. So please fix that issue. Probably because the 5 days you won't survive actually. It's like this in this audio. Okay, Dinesh Shekhar.
So we run our application on Apache Tomcat.
Any other applications which you want to run inside a container? Anything. Apache Tomcat is a one, but anything else also which you are using in your office?
Zookeeper.
Okay. What else? Kamal? Node.js. Okay. Krishna Kataru? Spark. I don't know, but I'm just writing it. It's Apache Spark you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Murlidhar. Murlidhar? Nitin? Ryan?
Currently, we have application running in WebLogic as well. Is it possible to use that to container?
Sorry, sir, your voice is too low, or maybe it's not clear to me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You said WebLogic.
Oh, WebLogic. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Parthasarthi. Sorry, I'm not able to spell it. Parthasarthi. Python. Yes. Python. Pavitra.
Yeah, recipe.
Which one?
Recipe. Spring Boot.
Ma'am, can you please loud, please? I'm sorry, I'm not able to make out.
REST API, Spring Boot.
Spring Boot, okay. Spring Boot. Okay. Pradeep? Pradeep? Pradeep is not there. Rajesh?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. So I would like to run Java as an image.
Okay. Java. Rajesh?
Nginx.
Unix? Nginx. Okay. Nginx. Okay. Sai Krishnan?
Yes, Rajesh. So something like a backend service, so like MongoDB.
MongoDB, yeah. MongoDB. Okay.
Yeah.
Samuel?
I want to go with Spring Boot. I think it is
Something else which is not covered.
something else.
Any application?
How about an MQ backend? Any MQ like a RabbitMQ?
RabbitMQ, yeah. RabbitMQ. Okay. Trisha?
Yeah, maybe MySQL.
MySQL, yeah. What is that? Sujay? Shivisha Shankar?
Yeah, we have replication which is running in older application. So it's like Tomcat mostly.
But Tomcat has been already addressed. Any other applications you have?
For Tomcat is this which we are using in Spring Boot also. We have that's the thing which we need to do it now.
So Yadagiri?
How about Kafka?
Kafka, yeah. These are the applications which you guys are using. So many applications you are using. Okay. Yadagiri?
Firefly?
Which
or
one?
Java?
Firefly?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, you have given these many applications and I believe you know that. So end of this session, today, this is your assignment. You need to teach me running these containers. How? After my demo. Okay? After my demo. Okay? This is assignments again for you. Let me tell you, on assignments, there is no help, but demo, labs, there is a help. Okay? But you need to teach me how can you run. And that you will learn yourself here. Okay? So now let's get started. So guys, my selection is Rajesh is selecting one application which is Jenkins. Now understand this, what is Jenkins? Jenkins is a Java based application. So that means any Java based application required what? Java. Okay? And Java required what? Platform like operating system. Here operating system has a two part. You know that. Boot file system, I have already said very clearly. Please, boot file system and a root file system. So here, boot file system plus root file system. Where is in the container world, boot file system is from the OS. Okay? OS, and here root file system from the image. Okay? So now you know that. Very well. Now, here I need that image. Okay, understand that. I need that image which has any root file system which can run Java. On top of that, Jenkins application. Okay, which is Jenkins app. Okay, this is the environment. Are you okay with it? Guys, are you okay with it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Now let's follow this cycle. There is no problem. I am pulling the image. So how can you see that image? See here. Some of the commands which I am going to, I have already covered, I guess. Yeah, I have already covered. These are the commands. Okay, I'll come back to these commands later. Okay, info command. But here, one more thing, you have to look at it very carefully, because sometimes what happens, I cover the commands and I don't talk about output much. But you should cover, no matter whether you understand or don't understand it. Okay, because over the period of time it will be covered. Now, what I'm doing right now, I am downloading the image. How can we download? So I'll go to my Docker Hub, which is a default registry, okay, which is inbuilt, okay, it's a default Docker Hub. Okay, now here you see Docker. If you do the Docker info and see here registry, this is the address of Docker Hub always. Okay, index.docker.io is the API address for the hub.docker.com. So please do not get confused. Okay, so here this is the Docker Hub. Now there are so many official images also. You look at it, and your images also. So let's search for Jenkins. So like that you will search for your applications also. Okay, same pattern, same behavior with your application or any application. See here, look at it very carefully. If you see, there is an official tag. Number of download, number of stars is too much compared to other. So if there is an official image, you can download. Other images is up to you to download or not download. You have to decide. Now, there are the filters already given. Docker certified, verified publishers, official image, and category wise. So you can do that by architecture also. See here, all this architecture. Okay. So all the images as per the architecture. So now next thing is I click on it. And forget about this one. This is the image. How do we get this? Docker pull. So first, before pulling, I would check, do I have that image or not? So clear Docker images. See here guys, when I say images, it will check the local registry. And in the local registry it says no image, no tag, no image ID, no created and no size. Okay. So this is the thing. That means there is no image. So can I do one thing? Can I pull? So Docker pull. And what is that? Jenkins. Pulling is happening. See, pulling is not a one file. You see here, pulling is a multiple file. And I said very clearly, please read my statement. Image is nothing but a collection of multiple file system. So basically it's pulling multiple and extracting same time. It's not one file actually, not one executable or something. Okay guys, so now you got the images. So Docker images. You see, this is the repository name. Inside that you have image, okay, tagged with the latest image ID, created 23 months ago. Size is 696. Okay, so now there is a deprecation notice has happened. That means they are saying the latest image you can find here. You can download this image also, but I don't need it because what you will do so many images, just we need to learn containers, right? So you can download this image also. This is the latest image. So it's up to you. You see Jenkins. Okay guys, so now you see here, now you got the images, two images all together I got it. Can I check this out? So Docker images. You see here, I got one image, two images. This is the latest, created 5 days ago. And this one. Any images you can use, this hardly matter because all are production ready images, official images. So not a problem. So now I got the images. Now with that image, I will follow this test. Now the question is, what pulling was required all the time? Actually, no. Let me tell you. Even though if you directly jump to the create command, internally it will pull it. Okay? Internally it will pull the images. So pull is not specifically you have to do that. But just I wanted to teach you the command capabilities. So for that I showed you the demo. Create, if you directly jump, pull will happen automatically because workflow, remember I discussed in the workflow, it will pull if the registry is not there. So that rules get applied.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
So now I will follow the container life cycle. So the question is, how do I see the container is there or not? Do we have any containers? Docker ps will give you running container. Docker ps-a will give you all container including exiting and running container. So whichever you are comfortable, you should try. ps only running container. ps-a all container including running container. Okay. So this is the important thing. So guys, now I'll follow this. Create a container.
Rajesh, I have one question.
Yeah.
So how to get the particular version of Jenkins? So it is getting the latest, right?
So here if you see here,
Because for our application,
here if you see tagged with latest. Okay. Now if you want to have a different version, what you can do, let's say, let me give you example. Here tags. See, so tagged with latest. So latest is the default tag. But this time I decided I don't want the latest. I want the little bit older, which is this one. Okay. So how do we get it? So Docker full registry name, repository name, okay, and then version name. So I run by mistake, but this. Did you understand this?
yeah.
Okay. So any previous version also you can get it, no problem, by tag name. Because every image, whenever you come, it's like a Git. If you know the Git, this is very easy to understand because Git and Docker both are brothers and sisters, coming from the same parent, which is Java. Docker is in 250 SHA-256, Git is in Java. That's it. Okay, guys. So here, Docker images. You see here. Now I have older also. Okay. So remember, always when you have a specific version, not latest, you have to specify colon and then a version name, tag name. Okay. So now let's follow the workflow. So here, let's follow. So guys, do we have any containers right now? So Docker ps, there is no container. Docker ps-a, there is no container. So Docker, what do you want to do? Create a container. But from which image? I want to create from the Jenkins image. Jenkins, the one which was old, 23 months old. See, created. See, it's not running. See, it's not running. Created. So this is what. Now, then start. So how do you start this? So Docker ps-a, Docker start. What? Container. Which container? This container. ID. See, now it's running. Okay. Can I stop it? I stop it. See, exited. Can I restart it? Restart it. See, up and running. Can I pause it? See, paused. Can I unpause it? And see, up and running. Now, question is, what is the pause and difference between pause? This is assignment for you. You need to teach me. You have to give me the answer. I will teach you how to share the answer. But now, it's running right now, correct? Can I kill this? See, exited. Can I remove it? And see, no. So guys, within a 5 minutes, see that how fast we created, started, stopped, restarted, pause, unpause, kill and remove, and hardly spend few seconds of it. Will you be able to do that in the VM? Take lot of. Yes, of course we have not used any containers. We will do so, but this is a life cycle of containers. Any doubts? Any questions?
Yeah, Rajesh. Sorry, go ahead. Go on.
Yeah, go ahead with the question.
Yeah, so when we stop it,
one by one.
Go on. I'll know. We started, it was in exit status, right? Can't we start using start command, or only restart will bring it up?
No. This is a generic flow. See, if it is stop, you can start also, right? But restart will stop. It was stop, then you wanted to start it. So you can start also. That's a generic flow. But I said just restart. Getting point?
Yeah, even after kill also we can start it, right?
Yeah, you can kill also, you can start it. In fact, after start you can restart also. So those are the logical flow. I am not complicating it, but it's a logical flow. You understand that?
Okay. Thanks.
Rajesh,
yes.
What is this difference between the kill and remove? So you're saying remove.
Remove means I deleted that container whichever I got created. See here, there is no container. And kill means you are killing that container. But the question is, you should ask me, kill versus stop. Because kill will also exit the container, means runtime you will clear it off. Stop also clear it off. But what is the difference? So that you have to find it out for me.
Okay, sure. So the remove will kill it, and then remove will not have any. So it will do a force kill, right?
Kill is basically kill. I don't want to answer because if I give you the answer, my questions assignment will be spoiled. But yeah, kill means another format of stop.
So it's like signal 2 versus signal 9 in line.
Right, yeah, you got it. Yeah. Okay, so kill is another format of stop. But what is the difference? You have to help. Now remove means removing. For example, you created a user and you remove the user. That's all.
So basically our question maybe without kill can't we run remove directly, so that it will kill itself and remove it.
Understand this. When I do kill and stop, container got exited. Let me show you here. See here. When I kill, container got exited. If I go up little bit, here if I do stop, see here, container got exited. So you can remove only the stopped container. Actually this behavior is, if any file or anything is used by the running process, operating system will not allow you to delete it. So when you stop or kill, operating system and kernel will release that to the process, and then you can remove. So yes, you cannot remove the running container, pause container, unpause container.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So any other questions on this flow?
Very good.
Okay, guys. So now I am putting all as it is, the command which I run it. So you won't face any problem. Every command I have typed it. So, and show you the demos. Okay. Now the time to prove it. Because time to prove it. But what? Go up. This. one more thing. Last time I discussed, this time proving it. Okay. So guys, I said each container is a user space. So let's understand that. See here. How many containers you have right now? Docker. Here, there is no container. Docker, create, Jenkins. Docker, PS. No container running is created. Docker, start, container ID. Okay. Now, Docker, PS is running. So, each container, so see here. See here. There is only one container. There is one container here. This is a Docker D. See here. Runtime, run C. Runtime managed by var run Docker. Runtime runs. So, managed by and container D. See here. So, this is a container. Okay. So, when you log in to any machines, okay, when you log in, so you're a process. For example, let's exit. Right now I am a CentOS. So who are you? See, this is me, CentOS. And PS-EF. It's a system, but PS only. See, who are you? Who are you now? Tell me. Who are you? Correct now?
Yes, sir.
8596. Now let's trace it. 8596, which was a bash. Okay. Inside me, bash is not a user basically. Inside me, this is running. Bash is running. Inside me. But who's the parent of bash? 8596. See? 10172. Now, who's the parent of 10? No, this is also process which I have and graph it. So 8596 is a parent of 10172. Okay, 172. So who's the parent of 10172? See here. Where is that? That's a temporary process. Sorry. Here, I wrongly understood. So here, bash is running with 8596. Process ID which is managing 8596 is 8595. That's a parent of 8596. Who's the 8595? 8595 is your SSD, which I did it. So who's the owner, who's the parent of 8595? 4818. Who's the 41818? 41818, see that privileges is coming from the parent 1207. See, 1207 is coming from. So basically this is your user session got initialized at this. Now see, who is the parent of 1207? 1. And who is the parent of 1? Mother of all, which is called 0. This is your kernel. Okay. So now you see that how you trace yourself only. I trace myself only and I got this. So here each user, if you trace it, now I will trace this container. So PS-EF grep docker. See here 101043. Who's the parent of 1043? 8974. Now let's search who's the 8974. 8974 is the container D. I told you container D is managed. And who's the parent of 8974? 1. And 1 is a child of 0. So it's automatically this. I told you all the container is managed by container D with the help of Docker daemon. But earlier in the user case, it was managed by operating system. Okay. So understand those flow. Now I said each container has their own mount, and here when I say mount, that's a root file system. Okay, root file system. So can I show you this? See here. Docker PS, this container, I want to Docker execute. Which container? This container. But what you want to execute? I want to see ls root file. See inside, this is not my operating system. This is inside a container. Have you seen this somewhere?
Yes,
Yeah. So now I will also show you each container they get a mount, okay, and each mount isolated. Let me prove this first. So see, I create one more container from the container from the Jenkins. This is a shortcut to create a container. Okay, I'll explain you a little bit later. Okay. Now I got the two containers. You see one container 6 minutes ago, another container 5 minutes ago. Now what I will do, Docker execute. What we want? This. But what do you want? Touch one file. Where? TMP. What file you want to touch? Rajesh 1. Okay. Same command but different container. Touch. TMP and Rajesh 2. Okay. So remember, in one container I created Rajesh 1. Another container I created Rajesh 2. Can we see isolated copy? Docker execute this container ls tmp. See, Rajesh 1 is there. And you see another container. See, Rajesh 2. So that means you can create a one image, you can create a two container, but each will have a separate mount. It will not be same mount. Even though in one container you can create as many containers. From one image, you can create as many containers and each one will be a separate. That's the reason I told you, right? Remember the discussion. See here, C Apache, C Apache, C Apache. Everyone will have a C Apache. No fighting. See here, here I told you, right? Now C Apache, C Apache, C Apache. Remember?
Yes.
Okay. So this is also proven. It is also proven. Now I said each container will have their own network. Any question?
Hello, Rajesh.
Yes.
I have one question. Yeah. Network namespace, right? So can you explain that? Because it started on port 8080, right? How can we access it? Whether that container has a specific IP?
Yeah, that's the second point I was going to on this. Okay.
Okay.
So I said each container will have their own network assigned, right? So now I have a two container right now. Look at this. So can I check the IP address? I'm not teaching the command, just proving the points. Inspect. Okay. I'm fetching the IP address. What is the IP address? Can you please read in front of me? 3, right? Can I change the container also? See here. 2. So if this is also proven, each container we get own network, own mount, own stuff. Now last point is process map. So what is a process map? Process map means start with a 0. So for example, if you look at this is your system. You only suggested me how many process maps you get it in your PC. 1. See here. 1 process map, 1 network, 1 mount, but multiple user space. So how many process map you got? You get it. So here one. So let's look at this here. That's the reason you see everything starts from the 0. Where is that? Here. 0, 1. Everything starts from 0. Just means one process map means 1 0. Okay. So here process ID will be different. So now let's check it out inside a container. Do you have any process map? So Docker execute. Which container? This container. Oh, bad mistake. So Docker PS Docker execute. Which container? This container. What do you want to execute? Inside that I want to execute. See? Inside a container they got their own process map. Because of that they got 0, 1, 6. See? PS-EF inside a container. Okay. Can I see that another container? See? Both container has their own process map. So they start with a 0, 1, 6, dab, because there's a few applications running, so not much tables. So here I said very clearly, right? See that? Now they can run on 50, 50, 50. So guys, did you understand exactly what is a container?
Yes, Rajesh, yeah.
So I think it was easy, right?
Yeah, basically the concept is quite connected, but we need to get a little hands-on practicing these commands, right? So right from creating the Docker and until we do all the start, everything, right? So maybe that will take a little while.
Yeah.
But the overall picture, how the single OS and kernel is managing two users too. Now we are talking about Docker managing different applications. The same set of the OS specific rules, right? So we have separate user section, separate network section, right?
Yeah. So guys, I have given you exact command which I tried in order to prove it. You can also try. The context is with you. Okay, so I think let's recap this stuff because I have spent almost half day. I've taken lots of time. So we discussed about what is Docker. Then we discussed what is a container. Short description also. And basically we discussed anatomy of this evolution, requirement, kernel operating namespace, architecture of Docker, and components of Docker. Docker containers, what is a container basically, and registry, image. It's very important to understand this concept. Many people don't understand. Let me tell you here, 3.5 years before I was not knowing. I was using containers from last 5 years, but I was not knowing this concept. So again I deep dive because I was having question in my mind. When I deep dive, I found out these are the ways it has been designed. Docker is all about the design thing actually. How you understand the architecture of the system and then you design your own way to run application. So in general.
So Rajesh, one quick question. So maybe it's silly. So we have this 32 versus 64-bit OS models, right? So does it applicable to Docker? Do we need to consider that while we go with this installing Docker?
Yeah. So from last let's say 5-6 years, I have used basically a Docker with a 64-bit. But I think you can run the Docker with 32-bit also. To be honest, I have no personal experience, but I think it can be possible. Okay, so check it out with that because I have not tried, and because we all migrated long back to 64-bit, so we never tried. But yes, I think it's available. Those options are available. You have to just check it out. Maybe the installations and configuration may be some tedious or something. But it's available. It's possible.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So yeah, this is the how to install Docker. Here is the instruction which I followed here, and workflow of the Docker which I explained it to you. Now life cycle of the containers, and these are all the commands which we have it. And then I said I chose the Jenkins and work with the Jenkins, and I told you explanation about the Jenkins also. And this is the this is the proving the concept. What is the container? Now let me tell you each command. I will explain you in detail behavior of which little bit later. Without explaining it, I run it in order to just prove the point. So now what is next? So now we will go for the lunch break, but after that, once we come back from the lunch break, we will do the following thing. First thing, this is assignment. First lab, sorry. Lab assignment. First thing, install Docker. You have instructions already in the notes. I'll share with these notes with you. Install Docker. Second thing, container lifecycle with Jenkins. Third thing, proof of what each container with Jenkins. Okay, I'm asking you to do the Jenkins. Why? Because there's some behavior I need to teach you. So for that. Now with that, okay, this lab will be given for let's say 30 minutes. And after this, I'll take over the demo part consuming the containers. That's the next part, consuming a container. And then after the consuming the container, more or less many things will be clear. Then I'll give you assignment of which we have discussed already. This, because by that time you'll understand the containers well very well.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.